England.
England.
Scotland.
Scotland. Okay, do you ride?
Yeah.
Yes, Ducati bikes.
Wow.
Nice choice. Which one do you have?
Multistrada.
Multistrada. Diavolo, okay. No bikes at all? Honda. You can stay for today. What about you? No bikes at all?
999.
999, okay. You might change your mind after the tour.
No.
No? Hello, and you?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, we have the bikes at the reception. These are the models we will use now. But the history of Ducati started with a different kind of production. Let's have a look at this wall. Radios. Specific components for radio. We were in 1926. Can you hear me? Should wear this. Okay, like this. So, components for radio. Why? Do you know who is the inventor of the radio?
Marconi.
Guglielmo Marconi. He was born in a little city near Borgo Panigale, the place you are today. And he was a sort of inspirational muse for the Ducati brothers. That's why they started the components for radio. Then all the other products were produced inside the first factory, which was built here in 1935. I'm talking about calculators, manual calculators, cameras, radars, and shakers. So everything but bikes. 1939 came the Second World War. The factory was first occupied and then bombed, almost completely destroyed. It was rebuilt at the end of the Second World War, 1946, but in 1946 people didn't have enough money to buy this kind of product, much less to buy a bike. Many people had a bicycle. That was a good thing because it became a great idea. We decided to produce a little engine which could be placed on a bicycle. This little engine was born in 1946 and the name was Cucciolo. Do you know the meaning of this word, Cucciolo? Puppy, baby dog. Okay, let's get to see it. Se me li vuoi mandare su li prendo io, ne ho 13. Va bene, sì. L'Elena parte dalla fabbrica e dalla fondazione. So this is Cucciolo, single version, engine 10 for the gasoline. These two components together were sort of kit people could place on bicycle. This is a normal bicycle which turned into a bike thanks to Cucciolo. This is a bike of 49cc, 1.5 horsepower, 40 kilometers per hour, and the most important thing, 100 kilometers with just 1 liter of gasoline. That was a really good start. In fact, Ducati sold 1 million Cuccioli after the Second World War, from 1946 till 1958. Little, light, small, people could bring it anywhere just like a little dog. That's why the name, Puppy, Cucciolo. You like it? Yeah. There was also a song about Cucciolo. Not the receipt today, don't worry. I'd like to show you which kind of bikes we have. You're going to see street bikes inside the factory later. Inside the museum you can see only racing bikes. So except for Cucciolo, the space was not enough, so we decided to put only winning bikes. Okay? So bikes which won a competition or a championship at least during the history. Have you ever heard about Fabio Taglioni? No? Not at all? Fabio Taglioni was our engineer. He spent all his life inside Ducati. And this is his first project. The name is Marianna. Marianna is a special ride dedicated to Gran Fondo racing. Milano-Taranto. So really long and difficult competitions. That's why you see this long seat. The rider could adopt two positions and he was more comfortable during this long travel. And inside here, they put the map of the cities. They needed the maps because these kind of races were through normal tracks of normal cities. Grand Fondo races with Mariana, speed races 1956 with the next bike. The name is Siluro. Siluro has got a Mariana engine inside, 100cc. It's completely closed and completely made of aluminium. Not really safe, as you can imagine. You can also take a look at the clip in a few seconds. You'll see how they stop the bike. Just like this. The rider needed to be catched by someone else. Otherwise, one side or another. So, not safe. You can also see the helmet made of wood and cork. Was really unsafe, but that was really fast. Siluro won 46 world speed records. Really fast. Top speed for this bike, 172 kilometers per hour. I remind you, we're in 1956, so it was a great result. You see that all the first Ducati bikes always use silver color. This is the original color for Ducati. Do you know why today we use red color? It's the color of Italy, the national color for competitions having to do with bikes or cars, like Ferrari. Ferrari was yellow before. So national color for competitions about engines, we can say like that. Red like Ferrari. Okay, I'm talking about Ferrari now because the next bike has got something about this important factory. Do you watch races? Yes. You know, the GP bikes from Ducati have a name. A special name. Desmo. Desmo 16. Desmo comes from a special system we use, Desmodromic system. 16 means 16. It's the number of bars. 4-cylinder, 16 bars. Desmodromic system. The word desmodromos comes from Greek. It means control of the speed. This is the very first bike we found with the desmodromic system. That's why the name is Ducati 125 Desmo. Especially this model was found in a garage in France, was from a collector. But I'm sure you recognize this. This is Cavallino Rampante, the little horse. It's the symbol of Ferrari today, but it was invented by an Italian fight pilot during the First World War. His name was Baracca, Francesco Baracca. Francesco Baracca was born in the same place of Taglioni's family, so the two families were friends. And we decided to put the same symbol of Baracca on Ducati bikes as a sign of friendship between these two families. When Baracca died, his mother gave to Enzo Ferrari the little horse as a good luck for the competitions. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Hello. So, 3 steps for this special symbol. Baracca, Ducati, and then was given to Ferrari. You can find it on 2 Ducati models. Ducati 125 Desmo and the next one. Ducati 250. Let's get to see this one. Okay, we can Where do you come from?
USA.
USA. Okay, so just you two from England.
Yeah.
Just two people from England today. Because this is the very first official bike of a great English rider. Mike the Bike. The real name was Mike Haywood. The man in the picture here. Great champion. 9 times world champion. Was a really great rider. This is his first official bike. Steel silver color and the little horse, as you can see. We're going to speak about Mike Haywood in the next room with the big competition of the 70s. First, I'm going to show you the picture of Fabio Taglioni finally. You can see a draw about the camshaft and an explanation about the desmographic system. The system was invented by Mercedes and consists in mechanically controllable opening and closing of the valves without springs. We used the springs before, but they broke up very often. So they changed it with a camshaft. And today, Ducati is the only factory all over the world who use the system, thanks to Fabio Taglioni. He was not the inventor, but he had been studying all his life the system inside Ducati, studying the way to use on world of bikes, because it was used on world of cars before. So we can consider Fabio Taglioni the most important person for the history of these things. And this is where he designed all models till the 80s, more or less. Hope to bring some luck. And also we got a big engine here. The name is Apollo. Who has the multistrada? Who has multistrada bike? You know the weight of your bike?
225, is it?
Yes, more or less. The Diablo, for example, was the Diablo, your friend. Diablo is about 240 kilos with fuel, like this engine. In this case, only the engine is about 220 kilos. The name is Apollo. Apollo was designed at the end of the 60s to have a rival for Harley Davidson. This kind of engine was dedicated to the US market. But the weight was a big problem because we didn't have tires, wheels enough strong to support a weight like this. Apollo never passed the prototype stage. But look at the shape. We have for the first time the L-cylinder engine. Ducati is famous for this kind of shape today. First time we found this shape. So if you ideally cut this engine in 2 parts, you can see the very first engine of the first GP bike from Ducati. So its history starts here. We got this engine here and the bike with the same engine in Japan. That's it. But we could create the first GP bike. So let's go to see this model now. And the red structure in the middle is a big helmet. Perfect Italian style. We're just going on corner road with everybody. So if you're wondering where the GP bikes are, I tell you that you see this kind of bike only at the end. Because for 30 years, Ducati even participated in this kind of championship. This is the first GP. Then let's go at the end of the tour to see the other. Okay? Let's go to see now some other kind of competitions. This is the route to the most of the bikes inside the museum are still working, and most of them are the original ones, especially the 750 Imola. This is the original bike which won the competition in 1972. I'm talking about the 200 miles of Imola. The rider who won the competition was Paul Smart. Can you see that we have 2 kinds of stripes on the bike without color? The material is fiberglass. Why there's no color on these 2 stripes? There was a reason. Also, the next bike you can see the same 2 stripes. Yes, to check the level of fuel inside. So now painting the two stripes, the rider watching almost always know how much gasoline there was inside the tank. The name of this bike is 900 Super Sport SS. This is the second bike of the original race. The original bike is on the picture. We participated to a very difficult competition with the 900 SS and Mike Haywood. I'm talking about the TT, Tourist Trophy. Tourist Trophy takes place on Isle of Man, and it's really one of the most difficult and dangerous races in the world. We won this big competition with the great Mike Haywood. And I show you the picture because you can see something here which has nothing to do with bikes. This little round thing. You can see the same thing on the bike.
Tennis ball.
That's a tennis ball, yes. The original position is this one or this one. As you can see, it's cut and there's a sponge inside. They used to put water and salt before the race, and during the race the rider took off the sponge to clean the visor of the helmet and then put the sponge back. Not tear off visor, but tennis ball. Was a good system. Don't try it now anyway. Was a good system. Also, this is the first bike using our red color, and one of the first modern bike. You can see it from the sponsors. Any questions so far? When we finish the tour, I'll give you 5-10 minutes if you want to take a last look at the museum alone and the last picture before to visit the factory. Now I'd like to bring you to the 80s. We have been talking about two special components of Ducati bikes. But Ducati is famous all over the world for three special things. We have been talking about the dashboard rolling system and the shape of the engine. The third thing is on this bike for one of the first times. I'm talking about, yes, treadless frame. You're going to see many of these inside the factory later. This is a really typical component for our bike. And you can also see here, 1988, the very first Superbike Championship. Same system to check fuel, gasoline and oil. I'll go for the gasoline. Lucky means Marco Lucchinelli, Italian rider. You can see on these bikes also a new symbol. This little elephant. This is the, yes, you're prepared. Cagiva was an Italian company which from 1985 to 1996 was the new owner of Ducati. We had manufactured the production during the 80s. And the government lost the confidence in Ducati's capability. That's why Cagiva bought Ducati and helped Ducati during this difficult financial situation. That's why you see this new symbol. Okay? Let's continue with the riders. Number 3, Raymond Roche, French rider. Number 23, American rider, Doug Pollard. And with the number 9, Giancarlo Falappa, Italian rider. You can see from the Lucchinelli's bike till here how the design, the style of the bike, little by little is changing. Little by little it's closer to nowadays. Do you have bikes, guys?
Yes.
Yes, which one?
I have a 1979 900 SS Dharma and a 2000 996S
Only.
and a 1098.
Okay, 4 bikes for you.
Three. Monster 1100S.
Monster, nice. Now I'd like to show you the most beautiful bike. Are you ready? You are? 916. Yes. You're in front of the most beautiful bike of the last 20 years. The bike was designed in 1990 1991. Just 3 years of difference. It seems like 20 years less, not only 3. This bike can't be compared to anything made before, for design, performance and style. Massimo Capolini, the designer of the model, spent 7 years to design it. Look at both bikes. You can see for the very first time Mignoni exhaust at the back of the bike, not one side like before. Swing arm, the first time, the use of carbon fiber, and the most beautiful thing for this bike is the design. They said that with a little bit of imagination, if you look at it from the top, with this special shape, you should recognize the body of a woman. That's why the most beautiful one. Come on and check. Is it a beautiful woman? Okay, so also Ducati won 5 times the Superbike Championship. 4 times with an English. He was called the King. Carlo Fogarty, 1994. Carlo Fogarty, 1995. Troy Corsair, 1996 from Australia. 1998 and 1999, Fogarty 2 times again. All the bikes you see after the 916 are kind of evolutions of the 916. That beautiful bike was the greatest inspiration for all the bikes we still produce. And here we have a 996, which is the last Fogarty bike from 1999. After Fogarty, came to Ducati another great rider from Australia. We consider this man a kind of superhero. I'm talking about...
Is he still on it?
No, Superbike.
Troy Billis.
Yes. Let's go to see a nice picture of Davis. There you are, Troy Davis. This is our great Superman, superhero, the big Troy. This man came from Australia, and he found out his talent when he was 30 years old. He was a kind of mechanic first, and he started to race with Ducati, and he won almost everything. So that's why I was superhero. People love this man in Ducati. We're going to speak about this with the Superbike parade outside. First, I have to show you also this special bike. Have you ever seen Super Mono before? Yes.
On the pictures.
On pictures.
Yeah,
Sorry?
not in person.
Non-person.
Yeah.
So you can do it now. Super Mono is a special project from Claudio Domenicali, our new administrator, and the designer from South Africa, Pierre Terblanche. The bike, as you can see, is almost completely made of carbon fiber. We have been talking about the Diabel, 240 kilos. We have been talking about Apollo, 200 kilos only the engine. In this case, the completed bike is about 118 kilos only. That's really light. And the name means, mono means one. It's 550 cc, 79 horsepower, but just one cylinder, mono cylinder. You can see the section of the engine, one cylinder, and that's a kind of block, you know. Limited edition, only 67 Super Mono produced, and always dedicated to special championship like Super Mono Championship, for example. That's a big bike. 80,000 euro. Yes. Okay, let's go back to the Superbike Championship and let's go back to Davis, Troy Davis. This is his first bike. It's a 996, so evolution of the 916. He chose the number 21. With this bike, we won together the manufacturer title, year 2000. Let's continue with the silver bike here. So, silver bike. This is a replica of another bike you have seen in the museum. 750 Imola, yeah, the Paul Smart. Also, we have this special and original color because it was a special occasion, the birthday of Ducati, 75 years old. So when you see the original color, it means a special occasion or a kind of birthday. 25, so Baileys once again, first rider title, 2001. 2002, 998. Look at that, 21. Baileys once again, another manufacturer title. 2003 and 4, Baileys was racing in GP Championship in Ducati. So, in the Superbike Championship we had Neil Hudson and then James Tozenend with the new model 999. Baileys came back to the Superbike Championship in 2005, and with the 999 and the 1098 he won the second and then the third rider title. That's why in this bike there's no 21 but 2 plus 1. 3 rider titles with 3 different models and the same champion, so a great champion. Last 2 bikes, 1198, number 41, Noriyuki Aga, Japanese rider 2009, and the last one, number 7, Carlos Checa, champion in 2011. Okay, we have to see the last room with the GP bikes. Are you ready? What's the difference between Superbike and GP? What's the biggest difference?
Streets.
They're not production.
Yes, these are called production bikes. GP sounds more like Formula 1. They are prototypes, and they just take prototypes. These can consider more normal bikes, you know, not the GP. We waited 30 years before to come back to the GP Championship. We did it in 2003 with the great Loris Capirossi. Let's go to see what happened.
So tight you can't really like see them. That's what these guys are.
Okay, so let's start from 65 Loris Capirossi, Catalonia, Spain, 2003. What happens? Speed record, 348 kilometers per hour with this bike, like a plane. Speed record. Second one participated to Montegi, Japan, Capirossi once again, and the third one, you can see an Italian flag, that was Mugello, Italy, 2006. The back is silver because it was another birthday for Ducati, 80 years old. First 3 bikes, 1000 cc. From here on 800 cc. That's why Desmo 16 800. Winner of GP Championship 2007 with the great Casey Stoner. Other 2 bikes for Casey Stoner, both in Valencia, Spain. And the last one, this is our Nicky Hayden. 3rd place in Aragon, 2010. You have seen the new riders on the clip. Andrea Dovizioso with the number 4. Then 35, Carl Trapp. Finger crossed, very crossed. And Forza Ducati, we hope. Let's go to see what happened on the next races. Last thing now, then I leave you free to go to the museum. Then we're going to visit the best part, the factory. Okay? So you can see a red color for the first 3 bikes, then became orange. Why? This kind of color on TV after the introduction of new technologies, high definition, that kind of red looked too dark. Okay, so you see orange now, but this color on TV looks like a strong red, more red. Just a TV reason. Any questions? Okay, leave you free to take some pictures. Thank you for your attention. I wait for you at the reception to visit the factory. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Must be on bits for the cameras.
Eh?
Bits for the cameras. I don't noticed I had red orange. What's the red orange, did you? Ah, but I can first have heard mention orange though.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
They all have been by one guy.
Can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
We would like to have your feedback on color. If you respond with an email at this address, with some questions about releasing. Thank you very much.
That must be a GP bike, Graham, look. I said that must be a GP bike, because it's for V4. Country Italy, no Italy. Country Italy.
It's probably in. That's what's said.
No, it's in the country where you stay, isn't it? You'd be UK, Great Britain.
Scotland.
I think Scotland. United Kingdom or something.
Shiny Scotland. Put that on the thing.
United Kingdom. There you go. United Kingdom.